Dripped out in designer and some shit you can't afford. You broke. Walk down with my soldiers, you too broke to go to war. Effing on my body, you know what the fuck it's for. I just got my hair done. Bitch, said I got my hair done. Kid pay on the jacket, where you get this brand from? I got a lot. Bitch went to college, but you know her head done. Yeah, watch me do my little dance. Hey, fuck it up. I had one shot, I had one chance. Hey, this shit 5% tense. Yeah, I need a bad bitch, I'm a prince. I hate a rapper who be swearing up and down that he the hardest. I know a bitch who fucks with rappers, now she's saying she an artist. It's not a relay, not a race, your bitch ass know I go to farthest. They fucked up giving me money, got expensive ass garments. I sell ring, bitch, I'm a king. You a bird, you get in that courtroom and you sing. You ain't fucking me, it's a loss. Some of you may die, but it's just what the fuck it costs. This bitch calling me my lord. Dripped out in designer and some shit you can't afford. You can't afford. Down with my soldiers, you too broke to go to war. Effing on my body, you know what the fuck it's for. I just got my hair done. Bitch, said I got my hair done. Pay on the jacket, where you get this brand from? My bitch went to college, but you know her head done. Yeah, watch me do my little dance. I had one shot, I had one chance. Hey, this shit 5% tense. Yeah, I need a bad bitch, I'm a prince. Let's go. Rolling on. Oh, stupid bitch. Yeah.
What's going on, Consciouztv, your favorite breakdown commentator? Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. You already know what we're here to get into. Before we do so, please go ahead and thumbs up the video until it's absolutely stuck. You guys know that thumbing up the video not only helps with the YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious crew member and telling them to get their black asses in to the sanctuary. Also, if you're new here, definitely subscribe because, yeah, that's what we do here, honey. It's an all-purpose platform, politics, spirituality, sociology, panels. I mean, there's nothing that we don't do over on the Consciouztv YouTube channel. So make sure that you guys are subscribing so that you never miss a day or hour. Also, if you love everything that the King does here, you can always donate to the platform, $Consciouztv on Cash App and or paypal.me/ConsciouzTV. And that's conscious spelled with the Z on the end, just like it is here on the channel. So many people spell conscious the regular way. You got to spell it the CTV way, which is with the Z on the end, not an S, okay? And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be a YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you emphatically the link. Just let them whores know that we're loud, we're live, and we're certainly in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, what's going on, Conscious Crew? Let me speak to you guys. Shout out to, hey, Auntie Trish, midweek love. Thank you so much, Auntie. God bless you, Auntie Trish. You guys know all donation information is in the description box below, and it's in this little ticker right here. Thank you, Auntie. Y'all know I love it when y'all throw that corn on me, honey. I get popping that ass, honey, up here, honey. Okay? do it for you guys. So thank you so much. Matter of fact, let me speak to the country crew in the building. What's going on, Rumors and Tea? Hey, Remy. Yes, it appears that everybody did a little bit of everything at this alleged funeral, child. What's going on, St. Marquis? Hey, Tam Sin. What's going on, Kimani's Way? Thank you so much, Michael Day. What's going on, Keeney? What's going on, Danielle? Shout out, happy born day to Danielle. Girl, we got to give an old nasty piece of B-Day love to our Danielle in the chat. Child, she's a Libra. My mom is a Libra. Honey, them Libras are some interesting folk, child. Okay, make sure that you don't pull an ass bone too bad out there over the weekend, honey. What's going on? I'm half blind up in here. Is it Rock Shoddy? Hey, boo. What's going on, y'all? I'm blind as hell. What's going on, Gabriella? Hey, Linda. What's going on, Riri? What's going on, Spiritual Weed? Hey, boo. What's going on, Carolyn? Hey, Brittany. Hey, Sania. What's going on, 1957? What's going on, Mind Lady? Hey, boo. What's going on, y'all? Hi. Hey, everybody. Okay, yo, guys, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. This shouldn't be too long of a live stream. I just wanted to come and give a little 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 because it is so much happening. It's a lot happening, honey. They're tearing you up, child, with them happy birthday, child. All right. Before we get started, if you guys keep up with the community wall, you guys know that I will be embarking upon it's like a little mini series. It's like a documentary. Me and my team are going to be exploring the potential within being high on THC. And I've had 2 experiences so far on edibles, one in 2022, and then I had one 2 months ago while I was in Philly. And both of my experiences were very extraordinary, and they were beyond unique. And how can I say this? Between my spiritual and psychic abilities, coupled with what edibles literally does to me, we may be on the verge of some groundbreaking shit in terms of heightened states of consciousness, trance, and the unconscious and psychic potential. And I'm going to kind of be the guinea pig, and we're going to be recording loud, live, and in color some of the sessions. We're going to be showing you guys what happens to me and what I go into during this 2, 3, 4 hour long period. And during that period, there will be different like tests that will be taking place to kind of test my perception in an altered state like this. And it is a very, very, very extraordinary state of consciousness. The particular state that I enter into is literally rare. It's something that doesn't typically happen. I am literally either one of one, or I am one of few. And I'm pretty excited to embark upon this. I've always wanted to do work kind of in the holistic area, since that's a part of my whole spiritual purpose in life anyway. I had no idea that THC and cannabis would be a part of that work, but you know, that's kind of how you know that you're kind of letting go and allowing Scarlet's letter to kind of paint itself. So when that project is fully complete and we have reviewed our findings, which this is something that'll probably be playing out over like a 3-month period, then we will present that to you. I actually may put that footage in that mini series on Patreon rather than on the main platform, because I just feel like it's such an intimate, sacred thing that I don't know if I want to share me in such a vulnerable position on the World Wide Web. But after I get the material copyright so that I can strike anybody who tries to play in my face, once I put it in private community, it'll probably go there. But I will share the knowledge on a public platform, but I would share the visual maybe in Patreon. But you know, I'll figure all of that out. But because I'm about to undergo that, I've been doing a lot of meditation. I've been doing a lot of prayer, semi-fasting, just to get myself situated, because you know, trance states and ayahuasca and edibles and THC and all of these powerful psychedelics, they can have a very profound impact on your state of consciousness. You can come back actually really traumatized and fucked up if you don't know what you're doing. So I'm really just making sure that I'm feeling really grounded emotionally and mentally, so that I don't get turned every which way but loose during this experience. And hopefully my experience going forward will be just as uplifting and self-liberating and matrix breaking as my previous experiences have been. But I am prepared for a so-called negative. And I say so-called because in my particular sector of spirituality, we don't consider any spiritual experience to be negative. All spiritual experiences are just that, experiences, and they're all loaded with information and data, and that's never a bad thing. But what I'm calling negative, more so, it's like an uncomfortable experience. I'm preparing for that, even though that has yet to be my experience. So Stella is just on rest, honey. She's done getting her groove back, and now we're back to business. And I want to make myself as much of a pure vessel for spirit when this time comes. So I'm really going to be taking some extra steps toward my mental and emotional hygiene, and just making sure that I feel confident and I just feel well, which has been going well so far. So far, so good. Okay, so be looking for that, child. We got it's a lot of stuff I'm working on, you guys. You guys also know that I'm working on getting a Discord situated. We're going to be jumping over on TikTok, doing content as well. I'm kind of galvanizing a small itty bitty little CTV work crew, because I'm only one person, to kind of help me to kind of lay my foundation, because when you have to be both the talent and you got to do all the administrative stuff, it can really kill your buzz. So I'm putting together a little team to help me to kind of expand the Consciouztv brand. So once again, stay locked and loaded. I'll be letting you guys know, you know, as everything is happening, where we're going to be, what the content is going to be, and then you guys can come over and support me every which way, and we can continue to colonize social media. Okay, so when I'm not up here, it's because I'm working on ideas, I'm strategizing, I got a book, like it's all type of shit that's going on. So, and I wasn't going to say nothing, but I'm also have a project going on around hair. I have found some vendors, and CTV is going to be in the business of hair, not just a brand ambassador for a company, which I have been in the past for a lot of companies, but I'm going to have my own weave line. So you guys can come and get your fresh bundles that you can color, cut, and style, okay, and hold on to for years and years and years and years on end, because it's that top notch. It's going to be very affordable, and yeah, it's going to be a whole fucking thing. So yeah, the bitch is literally working, child. All right, let's get into today's subject matter. What's going on, Beachy? Hi, hey everybody. Hi. Let's get into the things. We got, girl, it's a lot going on in Hollywood. It's a lot going on in politics as well. This is going to be a politrick centered stream, child. Let's get into Donald Dumb, because he got it going on as always, girl. You know, y'all's favorite orange Cheeto. For those of you who don't know, there was a statue that Democrats resurrected outside of DC of Trump and his very best, good girlfriend and Judy, Jeffrey Epstein. They made a monument and a statue out of the both of these hoes holding hands and put it dead smack in the front of the White House, or the Capitol, I should say, really. But it's, of course, been removed, and we knew that was happening. But when I tell you I love the pettiness of the Dems, I love it down boots, all right? Statue of Trump and Jeffrey Epstein holding hands at DC's National Mall has been removed after less than 24 hours. Reports say that the monument was built to celebrate National Friendship Month. What's wrong? What's wrong, Boots? What is wrong with a monument, Trump, of you and your best friend, the same best friends whose private jet you were flaunting and grandstanding around in last year during the campaign? Yeah, remember that best friend? The one who stole a Marty Largo girl, or whatever the hell you call your motherfucking like minor compound over there with Ivanka and all them folk? Yeah. What's wrong? What's wrong with this bronze statue, girl? Check this shit out. The bronze painted statue was engraved with "Friends Forever," which sources claim was in honor of celebrating Friendship Month in September. According to photos, the plaque on the statue stated the following, quote, "In honor of Friendship Month, we celebrate the long-lasting bond between President Donald Trump and his closest friend, Jeffrey Epstein," engraved with hands making a heart shape. A spokesperson for the Department of the Interior told NPR that the statue was removed because, quote, "it was not compliant with the permit issued." This prompted the group responsible for the statue, the National Handshake Group, to speak out, accusing the Trump administration of illegally removing it due to a crackdown on speech it disagrees with. The anonymous anti-Trump group responsible for the statue claims that they use art, irony, and humor to spark conversation in public spaces. And this piece was created to highlight Donald Trump's past relationship with Epstein, which he's denied multiple times. Both plaques are engraved with quotes from Trump's alleged birthday note to Epstein stating, quote, "We have certain things in common, and enigmas never age. Have you noticed that?" The group has installed several statues since last October, but this is the only one that's been removed, girl. I am gagging. Oh, what a short-lived gag, but it indeed was a gag. We'll see, girl, if the group can get it back up on its feet in time, child, or will Donald Trump be taking the poor anonymous group to task in a grandstanding civil lawsuit and sue these folk for billions of dollars because of his own frail white fragility that just can't take any of the energy that he consistently sends off in this country every single day, honey? We will keep you guys informed, honey. You gotta love it. Got to love it, child. Now we got to get into a very bizarre social experiment. Girl, it was definitely given psyop. Was this Charlie Luther King Kirk memorial service, which people couldn't tell the difference between it being a funeral and it being a special edition of WWE, girl. They had pyros. I thought Beyonce was going to rise from up underneath the ground, girl. I didn't know if the earth was going to fucking quake, girl. There was confetti, bitch. I mean, it was a spectacle, and it caused lots of conversations. There are so many conversations to be had about this event, girl, that I don't even have enough time in this live stream to go through every single bizarre moment in this whole thing. But one of those things obviously was this very weird ass hug between Donald Trump and Erika Kirk, okay, the widow of Charlie Kirk. Listen and watch this, and then we're going to talk about it, because I cringed so terribly, girl. So terribly. As you guys can also see here, both Trump and Erika and all guests were behind a bulletproof casing because of all of the recent political violence that's been taking place. It was more with, okay, so here it is. Girl, it looked like Erika was low-key trying to go for the lips, honey, okay? Because that man was coming in for a big puckered up kiss, girl. Okay? She turned her head, girl, instead of having a head-on collision. Then he points up, and then she goes in for a hug. There's just something so awkward about what's happening here. And maybe it's somewhere between Erika being super performative, girl. You know, I guess she was having an inner cry because there was no outer tears. And between her performing grief and Donald Trump being the emotionally unavailable, narcissistic, homicidal sociopath that he is, it just reeked of ill. Like the whole thing was like, what? Between her performing grief and him being emotionally unavailable, girl, it couldn't be more synthetic vibes in the room than what it is, girl. Like, there's not an authentic bone to be found in this moment in Erika nor Donald. But what happens next definitely just made my blood run completely cold. What is this? What the is this? What is this? What, Donald Trump? What is this, girl? Like, what is this? What is this? Why? And what? What is it? Why does it look like Trump is like got her? Like he finally snapped one. She's literally attempting to get her Oscar performance on, girl. Oscar performance of a lifetime. She's in her Halle Berry bag, girl. She's in her Jennifer Love Hewitt bag, trying to have a moment, trying to perform grief. And here it is. He looks like a big tant pervert. Why is he hugging her that way? Why is he biting his bottom lip? Are they supposed to hook up after this, girl? This is such a contrasting, emotionally inappropriate posture from Trump, because what the fuck would be happening in this moment that is supposed to be about this grieving widow whose husband was assassinated in this violent public manner? And girl, for you, it's just a dance party with Beyonce. Why is Donald Trump himself not also emoting? This would be his opportunity, right? To also fake perform grief so that he can continue to pull on the little pain heartstrings of MAGA. But Donald Trump is so true to his narcissism that the man can't even pretend, which is a great thing, okay? Because he see through like a Windex window, my girl. But he can't even pretend to feel remotely sorry for Erika. Can't even pretend to feel remotely sorry for, I'm sure, their kids who are somewhere in this auditorium looking at this on the Jumbotron. And to be the living relatives of Erika somewhere in a bunker looking at this, I'm just everybody's probably like, what the f is this? What is this? What is it? Donald Trump looks like he just successfully paid for some pussy. That's what the president of the divided states of America looks like. He looks like he just successfully paid for some bush, girl. This girl is cuddled up in your arms like the father she never had. And here it is, girl. You just swiped right on the black card and paid for bus. I was no shy. No shy. Hold on, wait a minute. I was no shy, girl, of surprised. But it's just like they don't even try anymore. They don't even really try. The administration doesn't really try. It's like the truth is just so polarizing and it's just so blatantly in our face. Just look. She's not even afraid to get any of the bronzer on her blazer. Donald Trump has so much bronzer and Maybelline on, girl, that I'm surprised that when she pulled her face off of him, that her entire hair color did not change to mine. That's how much orange Donald Trump is saturated in. I mean, he's contoured and highlighted down to the ground. And poor Erika. She goes from grieving and crying to smizing with that evil, 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 evil white woman look. My God. Both of them are trying so bad. They're trying so hard. I'm gagged by these people. What is this, Erika? What is this? Are you somewhere between smiling and crying? It's like I'm watching a Tubi version of what is supposed to be a sorrowful memorial. This is like the Tubi version of a funeral. Like, what is this? It's like they only rehearsed this once. I'm not convinced. Not convinced. This is a mess. Now, people are saying that there's all type of conspiracies around this. Lo and behold, Miss Erika here was actually a part of Trump's pageant because, you know, he owned a pageant. I think Jeffrey Epstein owned one too, which is common amongst PDF files, okay? They usually will own and run model agencies, pageants, etc. This is how they funnel young women to themselves and to their partners, etc. Well, she was actually in Trump's pageant. She was a part of his agency back in 2012. So people are trying to find the link People are also saying that she apparently is a plant in Charlie's life, that Charlie is really a batty boy, and this whole thing was strategized by the right, etc. But people are not sure exactly where it's going. But people are feeling like, girl, this was a Charlie Kirk setup. Also, you guys know, as a result of Charlie Kirk passing, now Erika herself has stepped up as the head of Point USA, which is Charlie Kirk's company, etc. But Donald Trump and little Miss Erika here have a long history, girl, far before her and Charlie Kirk intersected. So very interesting shit. But if this hug and all of this biting of the bottom lip, girl, and snagging one, and somewhere between a forced cry and a forced smile, things got even more interesting because fans noticed that this so-called alleged Christian woman had on some symbols that the general public are considering to be of the ILLUMINATI, okay? Particularly these pendants and necklaces that Erika was wearing during the send-off, okay? One of those is a blood-stained St. Michael's pendant, which you guys can see here. All right. This is the same St. Michael's pendant that Charlie Kirk had on when he was popped. Paramedics removed it, and Erika has been wearing it ever since, and it literally still has his blood on it. That's fascinating. Erika claims that it's just a reminder of her husband, etc., as if her own children are not that. But this particular symbol is one that is worn for protection and courage and faith, and it is the Archangel Michael. But Erika apparently is Catholic, and she's more Catholic-based than Charlie, apparently. Then there's the second pendant, which is of a Catholic cross, or also known as the Maltese cross, which symbolizes chivalry, courage, loyalty, and also faith as well. It originates from the Knights of St. John, who were a Jerusalem military order who cared for the poor and the sick in their heyday, okay? This order also sought to strengthen like religious devotion, etc. And once again, Erika does consider herself, interestingly enough, to be a devout Catholic, even though she was talking about avenging her husband. And that's another thing that's interesting about like the mixed messaging of this, because you know all these alt-right folk are only cosplaying as Christian. They're not actually Christian. They are elitists and capitalists and classes who parade around as Christians, because if you ever want to successfully get away with your ignorance and your buffoonery and your prejudices, all you have to do is identify as a Christian, and then it gives you the social and lots of times the legal right to be homophobic, to be sexist as hell, to be xenophobic, etc., because you can back all of those things up, typically with Christianity. So folks who are not as educated on some of these symbolisms are attributing these things to the demonic or to Freemason, etc. I'm not going to take anything away from those particular narratives because I don't care about these particular people. And when it comes to symbols, they can take on multifaceted meaning. So who really knows, right, what these things represent to Erika and, you know, her tribe? But these symbols also have like traditional historical meanings, and they're ultimately just for protection, which her ass does need, because, you know, her head is now as on a swivel as her husband's. So I wasn't surprised to see that she's wearing so many different forms of protection. But Erika, I'm going to tell you what the ultimate form of protection is, sis. It would be to walk in love. If you weren't walking in all of this division and all of this prejudice, you wouldn't even need all this protection to begin with. So if you really want it to be protected, sis, walk in love. You know, it's never too late to repent, sister girl. Okay? But everything about this funeral was given very much so a glamorized Klansman meetup, you know. It was between the intersection of a Ku Klux Klansman meeting and, you know what, evangelical mega church typical Sunday. It was very bizarre, very politically centered. And like I said before, they obviously plan on using Charlie Kirk's death as a lightning rod to fuel and attract other non-critical thinking, weak-ass imbeciles to their low vibrational ass cause. And it's just unfortunate, all right? But the scriptures do say that the road to hell is wide and motherfucking broad. Yeah. But the symbolisms don't end there, because there were more kind of anti-traditional Christian behavior that was taking place. And that was when Erika decided to throw up the devil horn hand gesture common in rock and roll. And when Elon Musk was seen up in his glass casing, also with this hand symbol here as well. Now, for those of you who may not know, what these hand gestures are mudras. And mudras are ancient Middle Eastern, ancient yoga hand symbols that are typically believed to motivate physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual healing by arousing various chakras and their energy centers, okay? Also known as the language of the soul. For example, Elon Musk hand gesture or his hand mantra. This particular mantra is used by a lot of yogis and Buddhists, and you know, yogis who are trying to focus on memory input, confidence, and concentration. Okay? You guys already probably are more commonly already aware of the hand gesture that Erika's throwing up, being in heavy metal and rock and roll. It's been a symbol that has taken on quite interesting meaning, especially in the West. This particular hand gesture is associated with like Satanists, anti-Christian establishment, or even being like anti-society. However, this hand mantra also has a dualistic meaning historically as well. On one hand, this hand gesture here, it can symbolize faith, unity, all those things. And it also can be a symbol that's used to ward off the evil eye or bad luck or, okay? So it itself is a symbol of protection. Because there are so many different cultural meanings of these gestures, some believe it is a sign-off, a pledge, if you will, a symbol of her allegiance to the new order that is being established through this alt-right regime known as Trump's administration in office. You can associate it with the Illuminati, secret society, of course, which is really what a regime is. But you know what's interesting about all these symbols of protection that Erika is shrouded in, from her necklaces to her hand gestures, even to like the particular necklace that she's wearing of Kirk's, of Charlie's, that's stained in blood. Ironically, her husband was wearing that Saint Michael pendant, and yet he was popped and popped viciously. So this protection wasn't protecting Charlie. You know what's fascinating is that, how can I say this? Because I want to make it comprehensible. So most spiritual technology, you know, candles, oils, rituals, they're really kind of neutral in all actuality. Like, they take on the intention of the practitioner. However, for the spiritual technology that is inherently good and inherently negative, you can't use those particular spiritual technologies out of context. For instance, for symbols that inherently represent something holy and virtuous in nature, if you, as a negative, filthy hearted bitch, use that thinking that that power is going to protect you, it's actually going to become inverted instead. And that's why Charlie got his ass popped. See, Trump knows to stay away from those goddamn scriptures, okay? Because he knows that taking spiritual truths and spiritual technologies that are inherently good and trying to use them for the great of evil, the great of narcissism, the great of darkness, only acts as a curse. So you're really self-cursing yourself when you take something spiritually good and you attempt to perverse it. That holiness isn't going to protect your evil ass. If anything, it's going to put a heat-seeking, hyper-focused spotlight on your ass, and for all the wrong reasons at that. This is also why Candace Owens, or Kundis, as I like to call her, didn't attend that motherfucking ceremony, because she knows she's playing in God's face too. She already knows, girl, when she steps into the real light, she got some things to worry about. If she was really a faith-based woman who believes in her scriptures and she knows her heart as well, that bitch, like all real martyrs, will march her ass right on through and double dare the enemy to lay finger on her. She can't afford to have that type of faith, because that ain't her faith. She's also a elitist and a raccoon cosplaying as a Christian woman, playing with spiritual truths and spiritual energies. And she knows that she got some problems, because what she's preaching is very incongruent to her intent and her context. Oh, yes, it is. Another prime example is the Ouija board. The Ouija board is obviously an object that was created not per se out of the best intent and without the best energy. That's why it more so manifests a lot of negative paranormal activity, no matter how well intended the user is. The user can be as innocent as a child. The user can be someone who simply just wants to communicate with their deceased mother or their deceased father, have innocent intent. It don't matter, baby. That a Ouija board will open up goddamn vortexes in your damn home and in your goddamn life and in your goddamn family life, and then you be calling in a bitch like me to come and clear all that shit out. Shit. Because the Ouija board is predominantly created and rooted in, I'm not going to say the Ouija board is evil, but it's not of the light either. And that's why your experience with the Ouija board is going to be more negative than it's going to be positive, because there are spiritual or evil. And if you try to use them out of their context, they're going to become inverted and they're going to have an adverse effect. But most spiritual truths and spiritual technologies are neutral in nature. So a lot of what people call Illuminati symbolism, etc., are Freemason symbolisms, etc. A lot of these symbols have lots of purposes and can be used for lots of different reasons. You find Christian mystics who use the same hand mantras. You can also find Luciferianists who use those same hand mantras. The symbols in this case, in and of themselves, aren't evil, which is why you have to really study the people who are using them in order to really understand what the intent is. And then that will give you insight into what they're using those symbols and those technologies to accomplish. Think of spiritual technology and spiritual truth like electricity. Electricity in and of itself isn't evil or good. It's indifferent. It's just a power. It's a current. In the hands of a mad scientist, that electricity can bring a lot of darkness into the world. It can cause a lot of bloodshed. It can be used for very nefarious purposes. In the hands of a light worker, in the hands of someone good and virtuous, that electricity can be used to build community, to restore life, balance, etc. But there are certain symbols and certain technologies that are not neutral, that do lean to the extreme left, good, to the extreme right, bad. And Charlie Kirk was wearing this pendant of an archangel for protection, and his life got popped. Without effort at that, girl. My. I told y'all, we're in the age of Aquarius, baby. And the divine feminine is here for the retribution of it all, honey. And everybody who's been playing in her face, you're going to have to see about her. Because you can hide from me, baby. You can hide from the world, baby. You can tuck your hand. You can call it whatever you want to call it. You can tell yourself whatever you want to tell yourself about it. But baby, you and her know the real truth. And she going to be on your ass. So make sure that you walking in the truth. Because the divine feminine coupled with the age of Aquarius, girl, are a holy check and balance system to the world. And we're going to be seeing a lot of fuckery happening to people to systems that deserve it. And we're going to be seeing a lot of systems that are pro-life, pro-love, under attack. It's going to be a lot of violence, but the people are going to have to stay fucking woke and get super educated on all things spiritual and metaphysical. And we'll continue to have these conversations here, girl, because you're going to need one hell of a discerning eye in order to see what the play truly is. All right. Now, On to y'all's favorite, almost. Girl, Brandy said almost doesn't count. Kamala. Y'all, almost president Kamala Harris. She sat down with our very own Joy Reid, who is doing really well on YouTube next to Don Lemon. You know, both of them were essentially fired from corporate media. They now are amongst the people and taking advantage of social media like they should and building community, and they're continuing to do legendary work. Joy sat down with Kamala Harris, because you guys know Kamala Harris has a book out, whining and complaining about everything that she did wrong and the Dems did wrong during this race to the Oval Office against Donald Trump. So she's on her book tour. So far, I think she's been on The View. I think she's going to be on a few podcasts, and she sat down with Joy as well. I was low-key triggered just a little bit. You guys know I'm really not here for none of our politicians really whining and licking their wounds. We need their asses more boots to the ground now than we ever did before. Project 2025 is almost fucking complete. The fulfillment of the apocalypse is approaching, girl, and with deadly speed. And I just ain't got time to be hearing about, you know, how bankrupt her ass almost went, hiring Beyonce and Kelly ass to come out there and two-step on a microphone. I'm just not here for whatever her and Joe Rogan's issues are. I don't give a damn. People are dying. People are losing health care and resources, and unemployment is through the goddamn roof, and the job market done goddamn crash, and Donald Trump is dropping bombs on sailors and yachts and on cruise ships and shit, bitch. You know, like, girl, I'm ready for our politicians to really pull out what our ancestors did, girl, what our civil rights leaders did, girl. I'm ready to see them folk in the streets, girl, getting shot, getting dogs sit on them, girl. That's them the only politicians I'm gonna respect, baby. I want to see some hands smashed in the doorway, girl. Like, I want to see some real injuries occur. I want to see the left really putting shit on the line. So I think it's unfortunate that this is the way Kamala is going to choose to spend her time right now, because there are deeper conversations that could be had. But something that happened in this conversation was Kamala, let me see here, because I have my notes. She sat down with her for 30 minutes shy. So one of the things that was bizarre to me is she sat down and spoke about how she was loyal to Biden, and she feels that may have costed her the presidency. It absolutely was one of the things that did, Kamala, cost you the presidency, boo. First and foremost, you are a public servant. You aren't supposed to be loyal to Biden more so than you are loyal to the people. Your loyalty was to us. And if you would have had to throw his motherfucking ass under the bus, and if you would have had to go over and beyond what he thought was right and what he thought should have and could have, that's what you should have did, because your job isn't to serve him, it's to serve us. Kamala said to Joy that she did think that there were better things to run on versus the things she ended up running on. She should have talked more about inflation. She should have talked more about the border. She should have been more leading in those areas, and she absolutely should have been. And as a result of her being loyal, it also caused her to fall flat in interviews when she had to be confronted with, well, are there anything that you're going to do differently than Biden? No. What are y'all going to do about the border issue? Y'all opened up the border and allowed 3 million illegal immigrants to flood into the country, and then didn't create a bipartisan opportunity regarding border control until 9 months before having to run against Trump. Why is that? Girl became Stuttering Stanley. Tried to deflect and blame it on Trump and say, well, Trump didn't want to participate and because he wanted to run off of the issue rather than to solve the issue. Okay, yeah, true. But the question here is not just what complicated that. Why the fuck did y'all not see it as an issue for damn near 2 years and didn't want to really yield and create a real solution until the year of you having to run against Trump? Why did y'all even open the border in this non-regulated way from the start? What was the reason it was opened? What was the reason it even happened? And why did y'all wait till the last minute to try to resolve it and then blamed it on Trump that nothing was done about it? Y'all didn't present a fucking solution until 9 months prior to you having to run against him. And because Kamala was the DP and she didn't want to make Joe look like a piece of shit and she didn't want him to look incompetent, and because he chose her, etc., she ended up folding. And if it was me, I would have threw that motherfucker under the bus, bitch. I would have said, look, ho, I'm just the DP. I ain't had a motherfucking thing to do about it. I thought the decision to open up the border was motherfucking dumb. I also thought it was fucking bizarre and crazy that there wasn't a real solution presented about regulating the border until the year of me having to run, or whomever was to run. These are things that I also would do differently as the people's president. Is I'm going to regulate that border. That's going to be something that's very different than my, than Joe's particular America. You know, she had to tiptoe around the whole war in Gaza and etc. because she chose to be loyal. And that really disheartened me because I'm already somebody who doesn't trust the fucking government at all. I don't fuck with politicians at all. My first time voting was last year. I don't even fucking vote because I literally know that it's a scam ass system. But I did anyway. And we're still here anyway. And knowing that politicians on both sides, no matter which way you play it, are being strong-armed. People are worried about their optics amongst their peers more so than doing their actual job for the people, because we are the ones who vote these people in to make our lives better socially and collectively. And to know that y'all up there playing fucking pick Misha games and y'all up there worried about being fucking auctioned off socially, and you're worried about Joe frowning. Like, who gives a fuck? I don't care. All politicians' loyalty are supposed to be with the people, not with each other. Sad. And now look at where the fuck we are. Because of people's incompetence, because of where people thought their loyalties lied. You know, and if anything, to be honest, girl, these interviews, particularly the Joy Reid one, kind of really shows that I'm not sure Kamala would have actually been a sound leader, because she doesn't even really realize it, but she's admitted to being too insecure. She was worried about the wrong motherfucking shit. And that would have been a problem, given that she'd been given more power than what she already had as VP. However, I still would have even chose a overthinking, trying to be loyal ass Kamala over a ballistic ass orange Trump any day. So even Kamala on her worst day, I would still choose. Don't get it twisted. Even Kamala on her worst day, even the most incompetent version of Kamala, I would have voted for over Trump, period, hands down, not even a thought about it. But the other reality and the other side of that conversation also is that Kamala really was weak and not ready for leadership. She couldn't even stand up for herself as VP. And this is the woman that took to the microphone every single week of the campaign talking about how she has been a prosecutor and a DA and she's fierce and all of this and all of that and all of that. And then look at this memoir and girl, where was the fierceness? Where was Sasha Fierce in any of this, girl? Where was the Beyonce in you, girl? Girl, Beyonce could have been a better VP and a better president than Kamala. Hell, Beyonce fired her own goddamn father, girl. Beyonce understands the assignment. Okay? Beyonce understands, girl, that big girls sometimes have to make big girl choices and makes those choices, girl, no matter how much they pain her heart. Just like she knew it was going to be easier to get rich keeping Jay-Z ass than getting rid of his motherfucking ass, baby. It's still more billions to be made. Okay, baby? Beyonce is going to do the work, girl. All right? So, love Kamala down, girl, but baby, this book for me did not do what she thought it probably was going to do. She probably thought this book was going to just help people, like, to pull on people's heartstrings and be like, oh my God, poor Kamala. Like, the Dems felt her. Biden felt her. The whole time I'm looking at how Kamala felt us as I'm reading this shit. How she gave in. She bent the motherfucking knee. Instead of standing the fuck up and remembering, honey, that she had a big click. That clitoris real big, girl. And doing her big one, especially toward the end, girl. Because, see, maybe I can understand Kamala playing the game during the 4 years, girl. But once it would have been lights, camera, action, and it's time for me to be the candidate and to go to the #1 spot, girl, I'm throwing the whole office under the bus, bitch. I was loyal then, but I'm for the people now, bitch, because now I have an opportunity, girl, to reset shit. And it's the people whose lives are on the motherfucking line in every which way, shape, or motherfucking form. And whomever would have benefited from the truth would have just benefited, and whomever would not have benefited from the truth would not have benefited from the truth. That wouldn't have been something I would have chose to give a damn about. If there would have been shit that would have benefited Biden, so be it. If there would have been shit that would have injured Biden, so be it. If there would have been shit that would have injured the Dems, so be it. If they would have benefited, so be it. Kamala should have chose the people. She was worried about herself. Second thing is, girl, when Kamala ass said that the race was close, I almost fell out my damn chair, bitch. When Kamala said that the race between her and Trump was close, I don't know whether she meant that, like, the data looked close on the screen, like next to each other. I don't know if she was talking about, girl, her and Donald Trump debating was like they were standing close to each other, because it can't be no way, girl, that she was talking about the race itself was close. The only thing that was close, girl, was Biden's death, honey. That's the only thing that was close. Trump annihilated Kamala in a way, girl, that almost takes her completely out of the books, even as a goddamn VP, bitch. It was a Mortal Kombat level fatality. The entire country was red. The entire country. The blue on that map, girl, was clouds. The whole country was red. And now that the whole country is red politically, the whole country is red in motherfucking rage and anger, because that ain't working out too well for them either. as a result of Kamala talking about how close the race is, y'all know y'all competitive ass insecure president girl also felt completely triggered that Kamala thought she could even compete where she can't contend at. So he dragged the shit out of her ass on social media. He said this: Kamala Harris, who is dumb as a rock, is going around and using as a standard part of her speech on why she lost the election that 2024 was the closest presidential election in the 21st century. Everyone knows that this is a lie and was covered as such by Fox News. I won the Electoral College by a landslide, counties nationwide, all 7 swing states, and despite the fact that California's fake mail-in ballots came in at ridiculous numbers, it was rigged, I still won the popular vote by millions. Bush, as an example, won the election by 537 votes, and many other elections were very close. Kamala's closest in the 21st century soundbite was like everything else in the Democratic Party, a total lie. I expect an apology. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And I can't even be mad at Trump for dragging Kamala. Look at this map, y'all. Look at this map, girl. The country's so fucking red, bitch, that as far as I'm concerned, the blue are clouds. Now, there can be an argument, right, that the election was rigged. Sure, it can be. But let's just put that aside. Let's say it wasn't rigged. Let's say it was genuine, because Americans really thought that Trump just ran on a better narrative, on top of all the racists who were going to vote for him anyway. Aside from all the sexists who were going to vote for him anyway. That the rest of the country was just like, girl, I need to be able to afford gas, grits, cheese, and bacon, and I need rent and mortgage to be, feasible. Okay, sure. Because there were enough people disgruntled with Joe's administration to have voted for Trump genuinely too. Trump was saying everything that Kamala and Joe couldn't. I'm going to end the war in Gaza. I'm going to make America affordable again. I'm going to lock up these trans folk. He knew to appeal to all the homophobes. I'm going to clean up crime. He was appealing to the common concerns of the people. And let's say that genuinely got him a win. Well, we're here. And look at that fucking map. I would never forget this map because I've never seen nothing like it. Never seen nothing like it, my God. As far as I'm concerned, the blue on this on this map are clouds, girl. And this is Kamala, I guess, talking about how close the race was. Matter of fact, I'm going to have to do this individually. You guys thumbs up the video.
One thing, what was the primary reason, do you think, that you lost?
There are many factors, I think, that played into the outcome of that election. But I think probably one of the biggest in my mind is we just didn't have enough time.
You didn't have enough time.
We didn't have enough time.
Oh, yeah. Well, you didn't.
And, one of the reasons I wrote the book is this is unprecedented. Think about this.
Yeah.
That there's a race for president of the United States. The current sitting president is running for re-election. 3.5 months from the election, he decides not to run. The sitting vice president then takes the mantle, running against a former president of the United States who had been running for 10 years with 107 days until the election. And by the way, a piece of what is unprecedented and a bit historical about that race, it is the closest presidential race in the 21st century
Yeah.
in terms of the outcome.
Wow.
Yeah.
The president-
You know, say that again, because he likes to say over and over again, he's got a mandate.
and that's part of why I wrote this book, because history will talk about this race.
Yeah.
It is part of American history.
Mhm.
And it was important to me that when history is written, that my voice be present.
Now, baby, close, like maybe Kamala knows something that I don't. Okay, like I mean, unless she knows something that I don't, I do not understand what she means by close. And she's absolutely right that this presidency and its race is going to go down in history as probably one of the easiest victories in U.S. history ever, because Donald Trump whooped. He whooped. He whooped. And even though I was out here on my platform, Team Kamala, Team Kamala, Team Kamala, Team Kamala, deep down in my heart, and every now and again, doing a race last year, I would have these live streams and I would say, y'all, I'm concerned. I'm concerned that the messaging from the left is not as hard hitting as it needs to be. I'm not sure if focusing solely on women's rights and abortion is going to be something that's going to move the country, because you obviously need to focus on the issues that predominantly impact and will benefit most Americans when you're talking about running for the presidency. And then once you're in there, you can focus on all those other areas, but you run off of a general gain message to the general public. It needs to be a messaging that can appeal to most folk. And that's where Donald Trump kept being successful at. He knew how to appeal to the masses over and over and over and over again by focusing on meat, eggs, ground beef, hamburger, Wendy's, sweet tea, and a goddamn border, and all them LGBT freaks, as they like to think of us as. And it won affordability. And won. I think she talks about the messaging in her in her book as well, but I can believe either narrative. I can believe that this shit was rigged and stolen. And I can believe that Americans also genuinely voted the way that they did, because I can see even now that we live in a society where people do not stand on the level of business that they confess to standing on. That if you make people or put people in a position to choose between their livelihood and their ethics, their livelihood and their convictions, people will sell their souls and choose their livelihood. All that shit they so-called preach on and stand on will go right out the motherfucking window. Sad. Bizarre. Kamala, baby, we're going to put you on the sick and shut-in list. Because I ain't got time to be concerned about Kamala's heartbreak, girl. The whole goddamn country is about to be heartbroken if we don't figure out our figuring outs. But speaking of figuring out, girl, go home, Roger. MAGA debaters invade a Tennessee State University, causing absolute chaos throughout the HBCU campus. Wanted to discuss immigrants and making DEI illegal with students, girl, and they chased his ass up out of there. Check this shit out.
Showing them the door.
We walking them to the door, y'all. I don't even know how they got on campus. We're gonna figure that out, but I don't know. They need to get like a trespass penalty or something, because
Sending them off.
Miss that boy. He thought he was gonna come up like Charlie
Yes.
Kirk.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, before we get into this, I see some of y'all still on the Kamala conversation. Some people are saying that we wasn't ready for a woman. We could have been ready for a woman. It's possible that we would have chose a woman, because the woman that we also had chose collectively was Hillary Clinton. Remember that. Hillary, when she ran against Trump, she won the popular vote. She did not win the Electoral College, but she won the popular vote, and she won by 3 million more votes than Trump. Being a woman, she was going to have her issues just being a woman in and of itself in a sexist patriarchy like America. However, if her messaging would have been totally relevant to the majority, and she just would have been able to push the envelope and deepen her appeal to the general public's concern and needs and wants, because when all of the exit poll data came out and when all of the census came out, come to find out, most Americans didn't give a damn about transgender people being in bathrooms, etc. Those were not the issues that Americans cared about. The issues that were at the top of the roster was the war and affordability. Kamala couldn't even really speak directly to the issue of the war because she was being loyal, like she said. This caused her to fall flat while Donald Trump was giving it up, girl. I'm going to end that war. I'm going to end it within 24 hours. Like, Donald Trump was being a common sense, practical individual. This sticking to the basic concerns, sticking to the shit that is at the surface of the water, and convincing people by being repetitious that he was going to use his political power to resolve all of these issues, even though he ain't not near that. I think Kamala could have had a chance, even as a woman. We almost had Hillary Clinton as a goddamn president. You know, but we knew she had some interesting controversies going on around her, even though we still predominantly voted for her. Kamala could have got in. Kamala just ran on shit that Americans didn't give a fuck about. And she was too busy playing politics with her administration, which ended up causing her to sound weird and kerfuffled and caused her to stutter and give answers and responses that just didn't make no fucking sense of it. And if anything, made people even more fucking angry at Biden, etc. And because she was going to be seen as somebody who was coming out of his administration, people was afraid that they were going to get the same administration by voting in Kamala. And Kamala has admitted that she did not do enough to set herself apart. She did not do enough. She did not speak in a way to convince people that there was going to be a stark contrast between her America and Joe's America. And ironically, it was kind of vindicating to hear her say these things, because when we had a conversation like right after the election on the platform, I was criticizing all these areas that she has owned up to. The strategy was weak. She was qualified to do the job. She had the experience to do the job with, but Kamala was weak and she was worried about being liked. She was worried about not making Joe regret choosing her. She felt indebted to him. That then caused her to be more quiet than what she should have been more docile than what she should have been. And ultimately, it costed us all, because now we're all being forced to suck from Donald Trump's bamboo. And it sucks. But back to these black folk running this goddamn, these MAGA folk up off their goddamn campus, baby.
Say good job, TSU.
MAGA supporters invaded our
Yo, what is
HBCU.
going on over here?
You called the East primitive, but what? We created y'all knowledge. We created y'all science. We created y'all math. Y'all didn't do shit besides steal. Y'all didn't do anything to your. You guys didn't make shit. You guys touched children. You guys fucked.
Showing them the door.
We walking them to the door, y'all. I don't even know how they got on campus. We gonna
Baby, I am gagging, girl. We Million Man march these MAGA brothers, girl, to the door, girl. The fact that they literally walked MAGA to the exit, girl, I'm getting my entire life. And did that without pulling out a Glock. Did that without political violence, girl. The fact that the whole campus, girl, all of our people, girl, stood together, put on their good running shoes, bitch, and made sure that MAGA had a safe but yet effective personal exit out the door, bitch. You ain't got to go home, but you gonna get your motherfucking ass up out of here today. I'm here for it. Okay, then Tennessee issued a statement. Tennessee State University said this: today, a group of individuals unaffiliated with Tennessee State University appeared on campus without prior notice. In accordance with university policy, any demonstration or protest activities requires advance approval and permitting. Campus police and staff responded promptly, and the individuals were escorted from university grounds without incident. At all times, TSU students conducted themselves in a professional and respectful manner. The safety and well-being of our students, faculty, and staff remain our highest priority. TSU will continue to uphold university policies and ensure that campus remains a safe, welcoming, and orderly environment for all members of our community, baby. I love it, honey. I love it. Okay, the Fearless Tour X account said this: just 15 minutes into our tabling, the crowd went completely nuts, started stealing signs and attacking our speakers. University police had to show up. Our sign today said DEI should be illegal. These students proved us right. Okay, so I guess this is an alt-right, rightist group on X attempting to change history when we have the video footage to prove, girl, that y'all got a professional exit, okay, without incident, without violence, okay? These MAGA folk literally came into a black space, came onto a black campus, attempting to carry the torch of Charlie Kirk and gaslight these black students with irrelevant conversations around DEI, etc., girl. And they got the motherfucking boot. You were not invited to the motherfucking cookout. And this is interesting to me because what is this toxic hyper focus upon black people who are not responsible for why Charlie Kirk is not here to begin with? Black people are literally minding our business right now. Standing on business by minding our motherfucking business, girl. Okay? Those Latino communities are the ones chasing y'all ice trucks and shit up out of the neighborhoods, girl, throwing rocks and robots and shit at your heads. Remember when Charlie Kirk first got popped, girl, they went and sent bomb threats to HBCUs, closed down campuses, etc., girl. Obviously, this administration and its cult-like members need the energy and the soul of black people, girl. They have this fetish for black pain, honey. Okay, they have this fetish for black anger, black rage. And we've been doing a really good job at not biting the bait. We've been doing a really good job, girl, in minding our black ass motherfucking business. Because we can see the gaslighting, narcissistic, triangulating tactics that are taking place. And I am so abundantly proud of our people who had the opportunity, girl, to go upside these ninjas' heads. They had the opportunity, girl, to tear shit up, baby, and to send MAGA off the campus in a body bag. But instead, girl, they came together, had a 5-second meeting, girl. Everybody put on their track shoes and began to show these people to the motherfucking door. Cuss their ass out on the way to the door, but showed them non-violently, baby, to the motherfucking door. This is why I was saying in my live before last that black people, they're coming for us. They're just going in chronological order, starting with the minorities who they believe absolutely have zero social equity. That would be the poor, who you have whole news anchors saying should be genocided. That's how we clean up poverty. Totally unacceptable. They're starting with the trans and the non-binary and the poor and the illegals. All the people who sit at the bottom of the social hierarchy chain. But as they come for those people and they clear those entities, baby, they're coming to the floor of America's house, girl, where the blacks live. They're coming for us. They're raging, girl. They need that. They want that. And they're determined to have that. This is why right now, not only do we need to be on code, but we need to be literally strategizing what is going to be an inevitable head-on collision. Because today, it is going to be them peacefully coming into our communities, coming onto our campuses to have a conversation. Next year, it'll be entire insurrections and terroristic attacks onto black spaces and black communities. Trump will have made deals with other African dictators, and they will be trafficking black bodies out of here, girl. Natural born citizens and all. It is coming. And these are all the signs of the signs, the telltale signs. These are all the signs and symbols in the heavens, baby. This is all the prelude. They're already pulling the slave ships up, girl, to the Charleston border. They're coming. This is not a confrontation that we're going to be able to avoid. It's just a matter of time before all hell is breaking loose between us and them. Okay? So we need to be organizing. We need to be preparing. We need to get very clear on that front because this is coming. And it ain't going to continue to be peaceful. It ain't going to continue to be them just peacefully coming onto the campus and us peacefully walking their asses out. This is going to elevate and elevate and elevate and elevate and elevate. They are blood hungry for us. Before there was any information on Tyler Robinson, Mr. Kirk's killer, these folk immediately went to demonize black and brown folk, immediately went to target. And it's ironic that they targeted HBCUs. They targeted not just blacks, but the blacks who have the potential to be the leaders of the free world tomorrow. They attacked our educational facilities. They targeted educated on their way to be somebody, potentially politicians, judges, police officers, legislators. They don't want black to happen. Y'all already know Black women out-educating, out-educating everybody. Out-entrepreneuring every motherfucking body. Now Trump done plummeted employment, which has disproportionately impacted Black women. He done overhaul and attack DEI, which has disproportionately affected Black women. Oh, baby. This is a war that's coming from above, baby. And all this shit is strategy. And everything that they're crawling through, girl, is on the way to us. They're on their way to us. Climbing through the Latinos, the Mexicans, climbing through the poor, climbing through the sick. Or they're just moving all those folk out, baby, to get to the meat. But the funny part about that is that Trump isn't even so much as a racist as he really is an elitist. So all the dumbass shoe-shining raccoons who gonna help to sell their own people out in this administration, along with all of the fascists, white supremacists, who are also going to do their job to help bring about this ethnic cleansing. Trump eventually gonna do away with their ass as well, especially if they not amongst the 1%. I mean, I do have to give it to the alt-right right now in terms of like the real masters, the real gatekeepers of the chessboard, because this is genius, the way that they're using everybody. They're using the communities against each other. They're using even their fake-ass base who believe that this administration is for them to also do their dingy-ass work. But when it all clears, MAGA ass is getting cleared too. When it's all clear, MAGA gotta go too, bitch. Oh yeah. MAGA are just the silly puns. They're just a silly putty doing the bidding. But they're just as disposable. And they will be disposed of because this is a battle of class more so than it is even of race. But they're going to use race as their biggest weapon because that's where the bulk of the people are. We only make up 13%. Considering how motherfucking red that voters map is, baby. We see the true tea of America. So the elite, aka the classes, are just going to use the racists because they have the bigger numbers to do the dirty work of the elite. And then when that work is cleared, girl, the elite will clear the racists too. It's a disillusion within a disillusion within a disillusion within a disillusion. It's a world within a world within a world within a world. Oh, and I hate that there is a notable intelligence to this strategy. And if we don't get it together, baby, we're doomed, girl. This is the Avengers versus Doomsday. We in our Marvel Cinematic bag, baby. Them folk is coming. They want us. They hungry for us.
Yeah, they threw a drink up top.
Oh my gosh, they threw a drink up top.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Did somebody just throw something in our car?
They just tried to hit the car.
No, they weren't trying to guard. They were just trying to make sure that y'all were really in there real good. They were just making sure the door was actually closed. They wasn't hitting the car. They was making sure that y'all was in there secure, girl. Okay, so shout out to Tennessee University, baby. I could not be more motherfucking proud. Ah, I'm so proud, baby. Because we're going to need all that energy. We're going to need all that same energy when it's all said and done. Jimmy motherfucking Kimmel, you got some of the Jimmy Kimmel ass got his ass suspended, then got them fired, and then all of the country turned blue again and went to canceling Hulu and Disney as a result of it costing them networks $36 billion girl. They got to sending in Jimmy Kimmel his permission slip to come his ass back into damn work, baby. So Jimmy Kimmel has been reinstated into the ABC network. However, all things aren't perfect because they're still not streaming Jimmy's show across all states in the country. However, he is nonetheless back here, and the YouTube monologue and show broke numbers thanks to Trump thinking that he was canceling Mr. Kimmel, and Kimmel's return was so anticipated considering the circumstances that yeah, it broke ABC News clicks and views. Broke it, girl. I think the monologue alone got, what, 6.7 million clicks and views? And this is just a snippet of what Mr. Kimmel had to say on his first night back on the plantation, child.
I've been asking me if there are conditions for my return to the air, and there is one. Disney has asked me to read the following statement, and I agreed to do it. Here we go. To reactivate your Disney Plus and Hulu account, open the Disney Plus app on your smart TV or TV connected device. I've been fortunate to work at a company that has a... He did his best to cancel me. Instead, he forced millions of people to watch the show. That backfired bigly. He might have to release the Epstein files to distract us from this now.
I was gagged. I was gagged when Jimmy said, girl, they may actually have to release the Epstein files to distract them from taking this big L to the ass. First of all, I had no idea that America loved Jimmy Kimmel to this degree. I'm not a talk show watching individual, so I didn't know he was this goddamn beloved girl. But I know that America and Americans right now who are anti-Trump, anti-fascist are standing on business right now, and this is about the principle of the thing, girl. Because we can all see that there is an attack on free fucking speech. You know, this man didn't even say anything about Charlie Kirk. He was really gagging Donald Trump, and he was penalized, and the network attempted to force him to even apologize to Charlie Kirk's family. Girl, I mean, just preposterous, child. And America stood on business and collapsed the whole fucking system. And this is what I've been talking about for the past few weeks, and this is what Sonny was talking about when it comes to collapsing the fucking system. Look at our economic power alone in this country. Look at it, and look at how money talks. This is proof that money talks. Some motherfuckers lost billions of dollars behind attacking Jimmy Kimmel's free speech. This should tell us and should be an encouragement to what we could do to the entire system. We need to collapse it before they do, so that they don't have anything to take from us, and they don't have anything to weaponize against us. And it's going to be up to us to keep the gold out of these Luciferians' hands. Imagine if we did this for taxes. Just imagine the working class just pulling out 1 day of work. in this country. Imagine everybody just taking one day off in America. And it's going to come down to this. I hope that you all are prepared to do for yourselves what y'all did for Jimmy Kimmel. I hope y'all are willing to do for the collective what we've done for Jimmy. Because it's coming down to this. Money talks and bullshit walks. I was more impressed by the level of commitment that's been made against Target, Hulu, Disney, ABC. More so than I was Jimmy getting his motherfucking job back. Cool. But my God, look at the power and the unity and the commitment and the action behind what we feel. Crashing this system before they get to take it from us is how we're going to destroy them and have an opportunity to leverage ourselves. And we're going to have to do that before it's too late, girl. We need to do what was done to Disney and Hulu and Target to the entire matrix. This is how they're going to feel the motherfucking burn. And this is how we're going to remove their balconies. Not through hooting and hollering, not through being mad as hell, not even per se being peaceful, but being very unpeaceful economically. So shout out to the people. But baby, my concern is that these are going to continue to be isolated incidents. Oh, we're going to individually cancel Target and bring them down. ABC, we need to be thinking broader about the system and focusing on where we need strategically center our actions toward the pillars that uphold the system up entirely. Because it's time for some blows to the foundation, not just to these individual networks, these individual corporations. Now that we see what it gives and what it is, we got to step up. And using our wealth is a way for us to be heard, for us to be felt. That's our negotiating tactic. That's our verb. That's our action. Attack this bitch in her pockets. Now, Donald Trump is mad as hell that Jimmy Kimmel has been reinstated, of course. So he hooted and hollering, of course, girl. Donald Trump is not having a good week, girl. He had to cuss Kamala out. Now he got to cuss Jimmy and ABC out, girl. This is what Donald Trump had to say in response to Jimmy getting his job back. I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. Something happened between then and now because his audience is gone and his talent was never there. Why would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, who's put the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? He is yet another arm of the DNC, and to the best of my knowledge, that will be a major illegal campaign contribution. I think we're going to test ABC out on this one. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings, girl. Mad as all hell. And it's really a shame that ABC even gave, to his point, Donald Dumb $16 million fucking dollars, because had they really just pressed the gas on the lawsuit, they would have motherfucking won. But I get it. They didn't want the headache. They didn't want the bullshit. They didn't want the long-winded ass litigation through this, fucking narcissist who knows how to stretch out every motherfucking battle because he's that petty and emotionally immature. I get it. But not saying it on business keeps also costing us. It could have been that had ABC News held their mule and committed to the legal and civil fight of it all, that they could have pulled a reverse fucking Uno and got coin and a big chunk of Donald Trump's wealth out of him into their own fucking pockets as a result of punitive damages, as a result of reputational harm, as a result of attorney fees, etc., 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 etc. This is war that we're at. And it's time for us to play ball, not find comfort, but play ball. And I love how Donald Trump is totally missing the point too. You're my shot at ABC. No, baby. Acknowledge how the people gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. If it wasn't for the people, But Donald Trump already knows he doesn't have the people. His own numbers are tanking amongst his people. He keeps beating his own piss poor record. The American people have lost their confidence in him. That's represented in the numbers. They're seeing him and his folk for the incels that they are. And they know that the people are coming come mid-term elections, which is why they're already trying to illegally, unconstitutionally redistrict all these major states and cities. They're trying to already illegally get ahead of it. They're trying to indulge in voter suppression. They're trying to cancel out mailing voting, etc. They're trying to do everything they can, girl, to stop the people, girl, because they can see through the numbers that the people, bitch, are coming. And if we don't rig this shit up in such a way, girl, that we can have the optimal victory, child, we're cooked. So I hope that come midterms next year, come hell or high water, girl, that the people are willing to put it all on the lines. And now the messaging from the left is also play illegal and unconstitutional. You can't play an honest game with dishonest folk. So the left, baby, seize the kingdom by way of righteous violence. Now, speaking of political violence, baby, we don't condone any political violence whatsoever. Laura Loomer responds to backlash after her comments about Jasmine Crockett. Quote, I guess I finna watch my back. God forbid Shaniqua pops a cap in my ass. So there's been a week-long emoting from right-wing Laura Loomer, who apparently is a nobody podcaster who hoots and hollers and plays up division and terrible politics on her podcast for the sake of click and views, etc. I never heard of this woman, just like I never heard of Charlie Kirk. God, thank you for naturally keeping me out of the spaces where these type of lowbrow ass heathens, you know, galvanize. Because I never heard of these folk. But she came out recently against Jasmine Crockett when Jasmine Crockett appeared on wherever the hell she appeared on, girl, and said this.
I want to point out that's not been laid out that honestly hurts my heart is when I saw the no votes, there were only 2 Caucasians. For the most part, the only people that voted no were people of color because the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk continuously put out there was rhetoric that specifically targeted people of color. And so it is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was specifically to us. And
so one of the Miss Laura found herself, girl, completely bent backwards and reposted this to her ex account saying, it hurts my heart that we have ghetto black bees who hate America serving in Congress. And then had the caucasity to also at Jasmine Crockett in her repost of this clip. Of course, she got dragged from here to Timbuktu. And she said this in response to being dragged and called out by social media. She says, Jasmine Crockett's homeboys and homegirls are big mad that I called her what she is, ghetto. I guess I finna watch my back. God forbid Shaniqua pop a cap in my ass. She feels me? She then also said this, why these bitches be trifling? Girl, if you finna play with me, you best be ready for the truth. I be spitting on your weave. I can spit mad bars, Jasmine. Baby girl don't like the taste of her own medicine. You feels me? And ask Jasmine, baby, what I tell you, these folk want us so bad. I am gagging at how desperate, pale, fascist, racist America is. They need that from us so bad. And it goes to show you how, if this is the way they're responding from the withdrawal, they've literally been using our frustration and our energy. They've been harvesting that energy. It's been fueling them almost like adrenochrome. This is what the system of whiteness has been doing to amplify their own motivations to conquer and dominate. They literally get high off of black pain, police brutality, black on black crime. This is why this is all their talking points. The succubus, parasitic, low vibrational entities who have a very twisted humanity, aka a lack thereof of humanity. And now that we're reclaiming our time, in the words of our Maxine Waters, and we're resting in our melanin, and we're just doing what we do, these folk cannot take that we won't go burn down Ferguson again. They cannot take that we not go turn downtown LA upside down again. They cannot take that we're not begging for the system of whiteness to love us. We're just simply fighting for our spot. But we're not meek and docile and at the feet of massa. Peacefully, lovingly, affectionately asking to be accepted. We're just doing what we need to do. And then also trying our best to not give in to the gaslighting. And when we make our best efforts, baby, to go high, these folk can't help but expose their low-level hand because they go all the way to hell. Poor thing. Poor thing. Now, she's getting dragged in the comment sections everywhere because people are saying that no bitch who looks like Johnny Bravo definitely is a bitch who's going to be taken seriously. No bitch who looks like John Claude Van Damme, girl, is definitely going to remotely, girl.
But one of the things
seriously, bitch. Okay? No bitch who looks like the original Bruce Jenner in the face. Certainly, girl, it's not about to get us up out of our motherfucking bag and out of our body. Because, girl, when all you got to do is mind your black ass business and it causes all this conversation amongst the system of whiteness, girl, we've already won. We've already won, girl. We got these people so out of themselves just because we're simply doing us. And they cannot take that in such a way that now one of our prominent attorneys, civil rights leaders, politicians, congresswoman, has to be not only ghetto, but she made sure to let the world know that this is race-centered because she had to insert black, a ghetto black. We know whiteness. As much as y'all try to tell us, girl, that black folk are making up racism and it's not about race, and you know, the left makes everything about race and the liberals make everything about race and black folk make everything about race. From y'all's obsession with the N-word to you not even being able to get your ill-intended feelings off against a black woman without highlighting that she's a black bee, a black ghetto bee. White folk, baby, as always, y'all slip. It's just showing so terribly, girl. And I'm glad that y'all do these things out loud because because the receipts of the day become the facts of tomorrow. The receipts of the day become the facts of tomorrow, my love. Whatever we doing as a black folk right now, girl, however we handling all of this, y'all, we already have the system of whiteness by the balls emotionally. We're winning on that front. Now, we can just get the back end together and figure out what we're going to do politically and economically. Oh, baby, we will be in an ideal position regarding this war. That is coming to a head. It won't be this peaceful forever. But if we can figure out the back end, because right now we winning on the front end. They'll be cooked and cooked for good. So shout out to Miss Jasmine Crockett, who I don't even think has even said anything in response. And I hope she keeps it that way, girl. Don't even acknowledge another bad, bleached, bodied witch. Because speaking of diabolical, girl, these ICE facilities are a equivalent to hell at this point, girl. Y'all know ICE has been a mess since its inception, and it continues to be a whole hot stinking criminal enterprise because 3 people have died already in ICE custody this month. Okay, 15 died this year alone. In less than a month, at least 3 men have died in ICE custody, adding to the already alarmingly high number of detainee deaths. So far this year, 15 people have died while in ICE custody, according to Senators Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock. The first 10 deaths occurred within the first 6 months of the Trump administration. And they are now demanding answers. This summer, Senator Ossoff released a report after uncovering hundreds of credible claims of human rights abuses against people in ICE custody, including women and children. You know, this whole women and children thing just is a literal running theme in Trump's administration, from the Epstein files and all of these alleged victims of Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Then we find out this week that Elon Musk's father has been accused of an ancestral SA and pedophilia by his own relatives. There are court records, police reports, and we know that Elon was also essential to the Trump administration. You know, this idea that the world and the system is ran by a bunch of global elite pedophiles, it's becoming truer and truer and truer and truer and truer and truer every day, girl. Like the receipts just keep falling out of everywhere. And now ICE, a Trump administration birth child, seemingly is murdering people, abusing women and children. 15 people in total have already died this year in ICE alone. Oh, but to make matters even more diabolical, not only are people dying, not only are ICE detainees dying, but 1,200 plus immigrants held in Alcatraz, are also now missing. Lawyers have reported the disappearance of hundreds of detainees who were held at Florida's Alligator Alcatraz detention camp. About 800 detainees no longer appeared in ICE's database, and another 450 were listed with no location. Amnesty International has also heard horrific reports that people who have been caged in Alligator Alcatraz have gone through hell. Quote, it's a black hole. This is like psychological torture. Where's the humanity? Mother of missing Alligator Alcatraz detainee who was eventually located. 1,200 plus immigrants. The largest human trafficking organization. The largest human trafficking scheme in American history, girl. This is like Jeffrey Epstein 4.0. They've created an entire legal loophole to traffic humans through by way of immigration status. And you have the PDF files of all PDF files running the government, from the head of Doge to the head of the United States of fucking America itself. My God, today, baby. My God, today. It's almost like those who voted for Trump literally gave Satan like the keys to the city. It's like having Diddy, R. Kelly as the president. Imagine a sick, twisted, sexual deviant having access to millions of bodies of his preferred choice. In this case, it's all of America's children, all of America's women. And you get to create loopholes and take advantage of systems in a way that allow you and your sick homeboys to feast sexually and energetically off of the lives of innocent women and children under the guise that they're here illegally. And then you got the entire country to vote into this so that whatever doesn't come out in the wash comes out in the rinse. You can blame on the people, because you can say, hey, you guys voted for this. I ran on this in my campaign. So if anything, that blood is on our hands, not just mine, as Donald Trump. And this is why the elite practice a occult principle called all things must be done in the light first. That's why you find all their foolishness written. It's written in the pages of 2025. It's written in as legislation. It's personified as fiction, cartoons, The Simpsons, etc. Because they have to tell you what's going on so that you don't have an opportunity to claim that you were a victim of unforeseen circumstances. They're such cheaters that's how they also get around that occultic principle too. Oh, well, yeah, we'll present the truth in plain sight. We just won't tell them what the fuck they're looking at. We won't explain to them what this is. And if we do have to give an explanation, we'll give a false testimony. We'll never tell them what it actually is. And then before it's too late and you realize that the wool has been pulled over your eyes and the rug has been put from underneath your fucking feet, there it is. Full manifestation. And then you can track all of the prophetic synchronicities, such as, oh my God, it was in the movies this whole time. It was in the cartoons this whole time. It was in our mythologies the whole time. It was here. Yeah. It was. And this is why the entire nation has the potential to be cursed. Because the enemy, just like in the garden, got Adam and Eve to participate in the fall, which made Adam and Eve villains rather than the victims that they could have been had they actually not participated. Do you guys realize that when we vote into shit, when we don't think shit clear, that we're literally participating in our own self-sabotage? That we're self-cursing ourselves? And the rooster always is going to come back to motherfucking crow? The devil is always going to come back to reap that which has been sowed? Is it too late for America? Is the curse already here, girl? And she's irreversible? Just maybe. Because these weirdos and Luciferianists have gotten us to also sign our name in blood by voting this shit into reality and actuality. This is a mess. American PDF files who are using the legal system in order to do God knows what to these people that the majority of society don't give a fuck about. Because the argument will be, well, they're illegal here anyway. They're poor here anyway. They're supposed to be, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? That's what they're hoping your argument is to all things. Those blacks, who cares? You're not black. Those gays, who cares? You're not gay. You're not trans. Your Bible speaks against those people. Who cares? The poor, who cares? You're not poor. They're in your way every day. Who cares? They're hoping that that's what your energy is. They're hoping that your apathy is there. And then you're dumb, goofy, apathetic. It ain't my issue. It ain't my problem. It don't affect me. I don't believe that any motherfucking way. As attitude is what is going to be used to create this reality that ultimately you don't realize you get to be judged and condemned in too, because you helped to reign in this motherfucking hell under the guise that it wasn't your issue and it wasn't your problem, under the guise of who cares? Who cares? This is what who cares looks like. And now we have the whole system motherfucking coming for our entire motherfucking head top, baby. And it's relentless and it's bloody and it's violent. And it's real, bitch. This is some sick shit, bitch. It's giving Get Out. And people are kind of waking up. And the question is, like, is it too late? Black MAGA has been falling apart since the beginning, girl. Here is a Trump voter who regrets his choice after Friends' deportation. And now he's raising her children. My God, today. Check this shit out. You can't make this shit up. My God. My God.
I sure did. I feel like I was tricked when you said that you was gonna close the border and go after the gangs, and then you probably only arrest 10 criminals and thousands of working class people. It's shameful. It's shameful what our nation has become. And you don't know what's gonna happen to the kids. You don't know. That's who I'm really worried about. We're talking about thousands. We're not just talking about 3 kids or 4 kids.
Just what I said. Look, God calls us to even have to call about them, to even care about the criminals. This is why we all should be for criminal justice reform. Just because people are in prison doesn't mean that they should be treated any such a kind of way. It doesn't mean that their living conditions should be any kind of way. It doesn't mean that the way that we handle our bad guys should be in any type of which way. We are called to be righteous through and through, by and by, with no exceptions. No exceptions for your virtue and your compassion and your love, whether it be that of a poor person, that of an LGBT person, that of a criminal. But yet we get that selective in our humanity. And without knowing that that creates larger issues within the literal system, and that we end up playing into realities that forces sicker than the ego are going to take advantage of, that sometimes we may not even be able to dismantle once they're fucking created. Because this administration that is ruled by not only a super ego, but is ruled by principalities and wickednesses that hide and reside in spiritual places, baby, they don't plan on closing the door. They don't plan on there being another election. And if there is another election, they absolutely plan on being so corrupted and rigging the system in such a way that their people can remain in power so that their agenda and their world order can reign supreme. This is what happens when you practice apathy. No, baby. You got to be righteous through and through this thing. Any hypocrisy, any error, any exception becomes the very small peephole that your grandma used to tell you all the devil needs is an opening the size of a peephole, baby. That's where there can never be no exception to our righteousness. We cannot ever afford to sit it aside. As a result of this man not caring about Trump wanting to clean up the streets of illegals because he convinced himself that, oh, that only was going to be for the criminals, just like all the other Mexican and Latinx folk who out here, I will vote for Donald Trump, not knowing that natural born citizens, not knowing that those with their immigration papers, not even knowing that those who had proper status in this country, all their asses are getting on a goddamn Mayflower ship. And now everybody is ex-MAGA. Because people decided that the idea sounded good enough and didn't think it through in terms of how that idea could lead to some catastrophic social fucking issues. And now his friend, who's not a criminal, but was an immigrant here, has gotten vacuumed into the foolishness of an idea he thought was initially good. And this is how the enemy plays, girl. What happened in that garden, metaphorically speaking, between those fictional characters, Adam and Eve, is a reality that's been playing out in human history ever since, girl, where the enemy keeps outwitting us. It keeps whispering to us over and over and over and over and over and over again, tempting us to prioritize power and greed, etc., without realizing, girl, that we're selling our fucking souls and we're selling our brothers and sisters the fuck out. This is a mess. Oh, God.
Shut your stupid ass up. Say that, folks. did your dumb ass say it?
Day after day, seems like I push against the cloud.
That's how all of our ancestors and our guardian angels and the Holy Spirit is looking at us right now. Yeah. What a fucking disappointment, right? We still fall for the fucking okie dokie, even though we have centuries and centuries and centuries of history, girl, that should have afforded us to be a lot more smarter and clever and principled and self-actualized than what we are. Last but not least, girl, Charlie Luther King is being pushed by Republicans to be put on the U.S. currency after his death. And no, baby, this is not a motherfucking joke at all, girl. They're dead ass fucking serious. Okay? Legislation has been filed in Congress to put Charlie Kirk on the U.S. currency coin. And no, this is not a joke. I don't have anything to say. I just hope whoever need to be proud is proud, girl. And whomever does not want this version of America, baby, I just hope y'all are ready to get up off your ass and do for the whole system, girl, what we did for Jimmy Kimmel. Because this is what's coming, girl. Whitewashing, racial propaganda. The gaslighting is at an all-time infinite level, girl. And if that's not enough to get us up off our ass, I really don't know what will be. But I just hope that we just don't keep making exceptions to the rule, girl. We're going to have to knuck and buck against the entire system as a whole, baby. Not just in these isolated ways, girl. We're going to have to boycott the entire fucking system. It's literally the only way to a new world is to literally destroy the old one, politically and economically. Destroy it. I got to get out of here. Tell me what you guys all think, girl. I have not been in the comment section at all, so y'all gonna have to tell me about it in the comment section because I was not paying attention to the stream. If you enjoyed yourself, Cash App, PayPal, Patreon, email, Instagram, all information is in the description box below. I love you a long time. Pray. And when you pray, ask for your higher self to give you and download to you how to get up off your ass. Okay, because it's going to take getting up off your ass for us to undo this and redo this and to recreate some shit, baby. This ain't you resting in your masculinity or your femininity, baby. We're going to have to get up off our ass, baby. So make sure that your prayers are asking for the Lord to give you the strength to get up off your ass. Because we need that. So yes, we do, girl. All ass is on deck, my love. I love you a long time. I will see you later. Bye.